Hi everybody, it's Yeti, and welcome back to another Dinosaur Fact Fridays. I know last time, it's been a while since we recorded one of these, but I know last time we did, I mentioned we would do the Hell Creek Formation, because that is Ore Master's favorite dinosaur formation, but he's not here right now. So we're going to be tackling another obscure one called the Tendaguru Beds. I am probably butchering that because it's an African word, but first things first, we have a new park because my save file crashed. So we have this kind of general shape of a park. We have 5 raptors here. You've got food, just eat something. Anyway, we've got raptors. There's an Edmontosaurus for their prey. And over here, we sort of have like our half moon lagoon, where we have Brachiosaurus, and we have Dryosaurus. Now over here we got Ceratosaurus, which, yeah, you guys know me, they're like one of my favorite all-time dinosaurs, especially my favorite herbivore. We got Torosaurus and Triceratops over here. We'll probably go more depth to them. And then we have 2 different areas. We have this, which is just like random Cretaceous herbivores. We got our Edmontosaurus. We got our Homocephalau. We got our, if I can get to it, we got Gallimimus. We got, why do you do this? Every time I click backwards, it takes me to the far end of the map. We got Pachycephalosaurus. And we got more somewhere. And then down here is what we're here for. So we have Stegosaurus, we have Kentrosaurus. We have Stegosaurus. That's not a good shot. Here's a good shot. Kentrosaurus, we have their close relative Stegosaurus. We have Oranosaurus, which they're not native to the Tendaguru Formation, but they were an African Ornithischian hadrosaur. So, and Dryosaurus is like, they die really easily in this game, so I didn't want to put them in, so I need a replacement for them for the meat eater we are going to send in. And then we have Camarasaurus, which is like the only other sauropod you can get in this game, so I always thought these guys didn't have eyes, and then I just realized I wasn't looking close enough. But yeah, we have, I'll put another figure down. We have Camarasaurus, which they're kind of a fill-in species. Well, we talk about what happens anyway. Someone died. Of course they died. Who died? Dryosaurus died. Dryosaurus always die in this game. Okay. So now we're talking about the Tendaguru talking about the Tendaguru beds in Africa. So the Tendaguru beds are a fossil formation in Tanzania. It says they were Tendaguru beds is fossil deposit first discovered in 1906, not 1907. They have that wrong. When German mining engineer Bernard William Sattler noticed enormous bones weathering out of the path near the base of the hill in in a part of Africa that was what is now known as Tanzania. The hill is locally known as Steep Hill or Tendaguru in the language of the local Wamwera people. A year later, paleontologist Edhard Frass, that's German, visited the site and unearthed 2 sauropod skeletons, the first known specimens of the species of Genasciata robusta and Barosaurus africana, which I think would have been cool if they had done Barosaurus, but they didn't. And like we mentioned this in the Morrison Formation episode, but I don't know this guy. The Morrison Formation episode, but Tendaguru beds is kind of very synonymous with the Morrison Formation, as they very much appear to be mirror images of each other. And as far as fossil speaking, you have in the Morrison, you have an example, perfect example. I can find here. Perfect example. In both formations, you have stegosaurs. In the Morrison, you have stegosaurus, and in the Tendaguru, you have Kintrosaurus. Kintrosaurus is smaller but more heavily armored. You see a lot of that. You see both have large sauropods. In fact, we both thought they had Brachiosaurus in it, and in this game you can get Brachiosaurus at both Tendaguru and the Morrison. In fact, I'll do that right now. I'll show you. Okay. Yeah, because the Tendaguru beds are here, and the Morrison is here. And in both formations, you can find Brachiosaurus. Now, we actually found out later that, after more studying, that Brachiosaurus is actually Giraffatitan. Or at least what we know of Brachiosaurus is based primarily on Giraffatitan. That has to do with, in the Morrison, Brachiosaurus is fairly rare. You're much more likely to find Apatosaurus, Diplodocus, even Stegosaurus, and especially like Dryosaurus and Allosaurus than you are to find Brachiosaurus. While in Tendaguru, Brachiosaurus is one of the more prominent species. You see them a lot with like Kintrosaurus, Brachiosaurus, and then Dryosaurus are very common creatures, along with Barosaurus. But no, a lot more skeletons of Giraffatitan than there are Brachiosaurus. All in all, Giraffatitan was taller, but skinnier, while Brachiosaurus was stockier built. Brachiosaurus weighed more, was longer, but Giraffatitan was taller and weighed a little less. Anyway, in 1909 was the day things really started becoming popular. In 1909, Berlin's Natural History Museum launched a dig at the Tendaguru led by one Werner Janischek, excavating over 225 tons of dinosaur, pterosaur, and primitive mammal bones from over 25 different species. It's one of the most lucrative, especially for Jurassic formations go, lucrative fossil beds in the world. And it's one of my favorites. I'm going to zoom in on this stegosaur. You see sauropods like that, Shietosaurus, Giraffatitan, Barosaurus, Geronoskia, several different species of sauropod. It's actually one of the most prominent is the large sauropod herbivores. And then you see in fairly large numbers, and you see a couple of like graveyard, like the spiky stegosaur, Kintrosaurus, which close relative to the stegosaurus. But this guy, real tiny little guy. But you see massive mass graves of Kintrosaurus, and then you see creatures such as the Dryosaurus subspecies D. letter Becki. It's formerly called Dislophosaurus, which, interesting thing about Dryosaurus especially is Dryosaurus was initially thought to be Hypsilophodon, but now new evidence has surfaced that Dryosaurus is actually more closely related to like Hadrosaurs. And so we actually see them as like Jurassic ancestor of like iguanodonts. And that's where we see the rest. They're not just Hypsilophodons. They're more like they're Hadrosaurs, they're more like iguanodonts. You also have a host of poorly known predatory dinosaurs, which we don't have a lot of fossils from them, but you do see not one, but you see two species of Ceratosaurus in the Tendaguru as opposed to one in the Morrison. So two species of Ceratosaurus. You see a smaller carnivore called Aldaphrosaurus, which is like roughly the size of like Ornitholestes, maybe the size of like Deinonychus, but they kind of fulfilled like the small carnivore scavenger role. And then you see, which is the reason I built this entire section here, you see a subspecies of Allosaurus, which we don't have a lot of fossils from. We only have mostly like femurs and leg bones, but there's evidence of an Allosaurus. And Allosaurus in this game is pretty interesting, but the striking red color. Now their arms are like pretty long, and that was true of Allosaurus because we have evidence that Allosaurus might have, because Allosaurus was a sauropod killer. We have evidence that Allosaurus would have ran up alongside like Diplodocus and like Barosaurus in the case of the Tendaguru Formation. Who is she going to get? Tyrannosaurus. Not historically accurate. So if we can't watch you kill them. We've evidence that they would run up alongside and then like grip onto their necks and be able to hold onto it and then like swipe at them and like take chunks out of their neck. Not unlike the just killed Chimaerosaurus. Now it's not a Barosaurus, but close enough. And so, yeah, Allosaurus were true sauropod killers. That's why they were so prominent in the Morrison Formation, just because of all the sauropods and all the wide open expanses you would see these creatures run up alongside and hunt these giant herds of highly mobile herbivores. Tendaguru is also home to several other species, including the mole-like primitive mammal Brachytherium, and several species of pterosaur, including the Ramphoricoid, several Pterodactylus, and the aptly named endemic Tendaguru picteris. It's more akin to a pterosaur and had a crust on its head. And you see, like, it was evocative of what would be to come in the Cretaceous when pterosaurs got really huge. It was that kind of body plan. But it was fairly small, roughly the size of like a terrier, and would fly around in this savanna mixed with jungle of the Tendaguru Formation. And with that, that has been this Down on Fact Friday. Baggers.